Abusuafo ene yetifo yebema obi bia akwa abashonko so ede aba Ghana politics abene so ebesere obi bia sese afei ene wabadwumedie kase egui so a obe like obe share obe subscribe to the channel no notification bell so send ya political trending news via echo tree cover bia no monso ma depend say abusuafo ene yetifo mo ne yebedi dwuma na mo ne ya dwumedie wi abom eba politics a musomfo guru eba Ghana politics abene obi ya ne ndi ho che obi ya ne yenkami abusuafo ene yekọ political highway no so no ensem bebre ene aso akote ensem no ebi ene sense sie no speaker Bagbin a okasa ema menhye bre group for panyini abekasa o chrem se MP a okosign attack ewo NADMO.You no so no wanya de o condemn the case no e was a nipa wi or that prison on tolerate nyoma bi say ewo parliament ema amomudi na chi so ema mesua enti say what did you need to face the consequences wagina branch be aka saa asem no e actually nipa yin nanim say friend Ebenezer Kwaku enya asem keto akra condemn bibia o we so aka chen say bail na grant krama no ono onye okay na was investigation the cost na ontimi kram be deny say no kre say enya no kre enti ono de o condemn attack na okwe na there was say jail enso sa eka ho enya asem keto akra mo yenko ne nkuti ono wana mu to nsem a oka fam me da obi bias
who has been arranged before other allegations on him. He's been taken to court. There's also bail that he's been given 150,000 Ghana cedis bail. Now, this got to do with the operation carried out by the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operation Secretariat in C0ňděm in the Akuffo region. The incidents, which occurred on Saturday, November 1, 2025, reportedly involve a group of youth is in some issues and also resisting NADMO.You's task force during the raid of illegal mining sites in the area. With what has happened so far, is it a true testament that the government is indeed tackling galamsey challenges head on, or just another show of selective justice? These are the two issues we'll be talking about. Just to bring you up to speed, some incidents happened last week Saturday in C0ňděm, as I talked about, which involved NADMO.You, involved illegal miners, and then the minister for the member of parliament actually for Asutifi North. Subsequently, some people, illegal miners, were arrested. Allegedly, we were told that the member of parliament met NADMO.You and asked that they should be released. This incident went to the police, and you had young people, we were told about 600 of them, that had to go to the police station to ask for the release of these illegal miners that were arrested. Of course, the member of parliament also got involved in that whole activity. This case got the attention of the media. We talked about it. The member of parliament was subsequently invited to the CID. He was taken to court, arraigned before court, and he's been granted bail. The Speaker of Parliament had this to say about this particular issue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I want to take this opportunity to condemn in no uncertain terms the attack on the team of security officers who are being assigned to help deal with the menace of galamsey, which has to be dealt with robustly. Nobody has denied the attack, and we must all condemn that attack. The people of Ghana look to this house as a beacon of hope, and it is our collective duty to set a standard that reflects the values of our great nation. Our actions and inactions carry immense power, effect, and impact on Ghanaians and the world at large. I have therefore instructed the Office of the Clerk and the Legal Services Office to provide all the needed support to the investigation by the Ghana Police Service within the framework of the 1992 Constitution, the laws of this country, and the standing orders of the House. I am made to understand that the member has voluntarily submitted himself to the Criminal Investigation Department of Ghana Police to assist in the investigation. In fact, there are so many members of parliament that are under investigation, and my office has never shielded any member of parliament.
So that was the Speaker of Parliament there on that particular issue that happened weekend, that's on Saturday. And as I stated earlier, this honourable member of parliament has been arraigned before court by the CID and then granted bail of 150,000 Ghana cedis. The majority leader also talked about this particular issue. But this member of parliament in question here also issued a statement. And to be fair, let's read that particular statement. As a press release to the good people of Asutifi North and the general public, I am compelled to address the recent unfortunate incident between some residents of Asutifi South and the military task force deployed on national assignment, and that's NADMO.You. He stated how events took place on the 1st of November 2025 whilst en route to a funeral in the Asutifi South constituency. I inquired from Honourable Collins Dowda, the Member of Parliament for Asutifi South constituency, whether he was available so we could move together. Honourable Dowda indicated that he's currently not in the country, so I could request, I could represent him. Upon reaching C0ňděm, I realized there was tension in town, so I inquired and was told there was a military operation going on at the gold extraction site. I quickly called back Honourable Dowda to inform him of the development. He asked me to go to the site to enable him speak with the team to ascertain what was going on, because one of the assembly members who he sent wasn't spoken to by the military team. Upon reaching the site with my constituency vice chair and driver, I introduced myself to the leader and asked that he speaks to the person on the phone. Having arrived at the place, I saw some youth at the site whilst others gradually massed up. The only advice I could give was for us to move to the police station to officially make a statement and subsequently hand over items and suspects to the police to calm the tension. Upon reaching the police station, it was seen that the major road had been blocked, preventing vehicular movement. Together with the military, Regional Police Crime Office, NIB operatives, Kenya State Police Commander, we all remained in the police charge office while statements were being taken. I went further to call the Zongo chief of C0ňděm to assist us in calming the situation, and he came. Having finalized the handing over of items to the Regional Crime Office, the Zongo chief volunteered to pick the military officers into his Toyota vehicle because the pickup of the military had been tampered with, and that's the vehicle carrying the military. The Toyota vehicle of the Zongo chief had its glasses smashed at the back, and by then I had left to attend other funerals in other parts of the constituency. I wish to state that under no circumstances will I incite the youth against security officers and any government-planned agenda. As a responsible lawmaker, I offered my support to ensure that there is calmness in the area and will always work together with every security agency to maintain law and order. It is quite unfortunate that the police in the state failed to acknowledge my contribution towards ensuring the calmness and also calmness prevailing. I urge the public to disregard the false narrative aimed at tarnishing my reputation and undermining my effort to serve my constituencies. As your member of parliament, I want to assure you that I remain committed to the welfare and safety of the Ghanaian citizens and other state institutions. And this was signed by Ebenezer Addo, who is the honorable member of parliament for Asutifi North. So that's his response coming in there. I mean, subsequently, like I stated earlier, he was invited by the CID, was charged, arraigned before court. He's been granted bail. And the Speaker of Parliament allowed this to also happen because he's a member of Parliament and they need a Speaker's directive on that. Our guest for us to talk to, seated next to me, is Frank Ifri, who is the honorable member of Parliament for Afajato South. Noble, good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're good.
Very well.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Next to him is Emmanuel Coutin. Emmanuel Coutin is Executive Director, Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're well.
God has been so
Okay. All right. Okay. And then Dr. Dixon Adumakukisi, who is a former member of parliament for Anya Sotium. We're expecting him to join us. When he does, we will introduce him duly. So once again, gentlemen, good morning and thank you very much for joining. Okay. All right. Let me start with you. And wait for you. What do you make of all these developments, especially with a colleague in parliament?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. And then, of course, let me, as always, use the opportunity to say hi to my constituent.
Okay.
And likewise, extend same to your good self and my respected brother, security analyst. Of course, he did something very phenomenal. Until today, I never knew. We've both been trained in the same school. The only senior high school in Ghana, Bishop Herman Senior High School. We call it a college. Good.
But before you continue, let me just quickly go to Zoom to introduce Professor Eric Bevari, who is UTAC's president. That's the KNUSC chapter. Prof, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And then thank you very much for joining us. I hope you're good.
I'm good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Let me have Honorable to continue. I'll come to Prof later. Yes.
Yeah, so George, this subject matter is nothing new. It's been a defining moment for us as a nation. And indeed, the difference lies in the partisan approach we have adopted for some time. Those of us who are politically exposed, we tended to reduce this whole thing to a partisan subject discussion. And it often makes a national conversation around the menace a luxury. It seems like it's a luxury. On the contrary, we must face it like a national canker, a menace of monumental proportion that, of course, deserve the attention and input of almost all of us. But I think that I am beginning to see a lot that is being done accurately, rightly. Now, when you benchmark this whole conversation or discussion and fight against Galamsey with what we used to see in the past 8 good years, to the extent that today, every activity around the fight against the Galamsey menace revolves against or around an operational mechanism, an official structure that seems to be yielding some result. The NADMO.You, I mean.
Okay.
Today, if we were in the past regime, I believe strongly that the discussion we are having now will not have even had it.
Why?
It is because they will always shy away from the subject matter. An officialdom will try as much as possible to make sure that it doesn't gain national currency. Today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's unyielding commitment to the fight is throwing so much light on the subject matter to the extent that what otherwise would have been nipped in the bud around Asutifi North or South has become a national subject for discussion, which has ultimately landed in court by now. And so I think that we all need to give His Excellency that credit that when he said he walked this talk, indeed he has begun. Question is, are we there yet?
Isn't it worrying that you have a member of his party and a member of parliament involved in something like this?
I'll come there. Yeah. The MP is a citizen like all of us.
Yes.
And so we all have a role, and I'll come to that side. You see, the point I'm making is this. If we were in some other regime in the past, by now, the MP's name wouldn't have even surfaced. How did this surface in all this?
Let's not talk about some other regime. Ali, let's focus on what's happening.
That's what I'm saying.
The comparison sometimes makes it difficult for us to resolve.
That's what I'm saying, that the comparison makes it sometimes like a subject of mediocrity, right?
I didn't say that.
The standard that we are setting in this government is high, and admittedly so, because Ghanaians expect nothing less than a fight that will be successful at attacking and in dealing with this menace. Okay? And then in discussing the subject in broad spectrum, we have to take into cognizance the role played by different actors. And that is where I will come to the issue of the MP's role. I am a member of parliament. And as members of parliament, we are enjoined to be the first torchbearers of moral examples in terms of high standards. We are enjoined to ensure that we become leaders whose actions and dealings will become like example for the rest to follow. And so there's absolutely no doubt about this. But on this particular occasion, it is being alleged that one of us has been at the center of this whole controversy by inciting the youth into action, mob action against the NADMO.
Which he has denied.
Which he has denied. That's what I'm saying, that it's being alleged.
Okay, all right.
Now, if you want to start from a perspective of an MP's role, we have several cardinal roles. Apart from the legislative process in the chamber, we represent constituents. And so you ordinarily cannot come face to face with some kind of disturbances and then you decide to drive and then feign ignorance. That will not show leadership. Now, the question also we need to find and ask ourselves is that the constituency in the center of this controversy, is it the MP's own constituency? No. It is his neighbor's constituency. I share direct boundary with Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakbo. Indeed, his district capital or the constituency capital, which is Peve, we share that same town together. Part of Peve is under him and part of Peve is under me. Exactly. And so on my way from Accra to my constituency, Afajato South, and there is any disturbances in Peve, in fact, in order to keep a clean slate, that I don't do galamsey, I'm supposed to drive past. No. So my point is that the MP says that in all this, he's innocent, and that he was enrolled to a funeral in one of the communities under Asutifi South when he came face to face with the issues and decided to place call to his senior colleague. And that is how this whole thing ensued. Now, we need to give the MP the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
And the good thing about the principle of equality before the law is that you, myself, himself, the president, all of us, we are all equal before the law. The law reigns supreme. So today, as we speak, the MP has been arraigned before court, charged. And we need to give him that benefit of the doubt to go through and granted bail, and so that he goes through the legal process. Look, today, the IGP has not been obstructed from proceeding with his investigation. It's a basis upon which the MP has been invited, and he's written his statement, and from there, arraigned before court, and the court has granted him bail. And then he's supposed to reappear before court, I think, on the 1st of December. And so it would be premature on the side of anyone to say categorically that this MP truly is the one who incited the youth to violence. I think that we must hold our horses at this point until the court does so. What must encourage every Ghanaian is that the regime is prepared to uphold transparency and accountability in the fight. Because you see, when NADMOs get the slightest signal yet that their life is predisposed to danger, and that anytime they come face to face with such this, the system will set them up and they become like scapegoat. In fact, the fight for this whole thing will become like something they cannot pursue any longer. And so we have a duty, all of us, to ensure that we do not expose them to danger. Again, as a people, it appears we haven't learned from the Major Mahama incident and some other incident.
I'll come to that bit of it though, in my other leg of questioning. But let me just quickly go to Prof on this particular issue. And he's joining us again via Zoom. Prof, good morning once again. How would you really situate this happening on, that happened on Saturday? Would you say that we've not learned our lessons as a people? Would you say that at least is encouraging, looking at the role that government has played so far, and how careful we need to be in handling issues concerning the military?
Thank you very much, and your viewers and my colleagues in the studio. for me, what I can only make my inference on the basis of the footage that we see and the footage prior to this incident, that is, that recorded for Honorable Collins Dowda when he was campaigning or whatever during that time. And on the basis of the footage, you and I clearly see the NADMO task force were being manhandled. And the youth are very much aware about the presence or the task that is, given to the NADMO's officials to execute, that they are to help stem epilepsy. And of course, their presence, they seem to agitate them because they were going to execute their mandate. Now, granted that they were not task force assigned to do calamity, do you think the presence of the military would have been attacked? No. So the question as to the action was right or no, taking into cognizance.
Nankopon ensure bibia ojebre edihwe dwumedie we ebidrum pepe so yedo bibia ase sene ye wo hwa ayo den sene ye wo hwa wani age hui besho se obe like obe share ama unuanom onamfofo obusuafo we so subscribe to the channel but notification bell no so sene ye ote ye speaker Bagbin ekasa efa de Ebeneza kweku ekoye ye no speaker of Asutifi de okoye ye no na je se ni abriye papa o je se odi enim kwase aba aye parliament nanka MPD nyoma bi se efa ho ben ebusuafo aha enemre ebema me kwan se me fa munsi edwuma ya utie ye nsem ya utie ye efa free speaker Bagbin no o nsem kaye bia fa she eye o comment section ho se ne be ya eye Ghana politics avenue for so ebetumi ene wadi ho nkita ho de aha enemre ebema me kwan se me fa munsi background